Hello, welcome to Right from the Kickoff. As always, I'll be your host, Will, and joined as always my partner in crime, Joe. How you doing, Joe?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good, thank you, mate. I'm looking forward to this as we've got a guest on, so it's gonna be very interesting. And obviously, it's been another fantastic 24 hours in the world of football in terms of information and what we've been given. So it's a very interesting talking points.
Yeah, indeed. And as always, we have a very, very special guest today. It's not Peter Crouch this time. It's my friend Will. This might be quite confusing, so we're going to refer to him as Guest Will. Okay, Joe? Is that okay?
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. That's all good.
So, how are you doing then, Guest Will? Are you well?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm looking forward to it. It's been pretty mental 3 or 4 days in football, hasn't it? But I suppose when isn't it really? But yeah, looking forward to
I
getting
know
on.
it. I know it's been crazy. It's been a bit of a wild 48 hours now, I should say, like you say. And I think me and Joe touched upon it in the podcast yesterday, just talking about what's happened and such. But what a time it's been. We'll touch on it more later on. But for now, well, as you're a Spurs fan, we thought you get you warmed up, ready for the podcast. So we thought we have some 5 Tottenham questions, quite straightforward questions, I think, like plucked from Wikipedia, and we'll see how you fare. Okay, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's do this.
Okay, so we start off nice and easy. When were the club founded?
1882.
1882. Is that your final answer?
Yeah,
100% right. 1 out of 1. Great start.
there we go. There we go.
Nice to get you warmed up. Okay, question 2. It's a little bit harder, but it's still kind of straightforward. How many FA Cup wins do you have?
FA Cup wins.
It's a tough one.
I think we won quite a lot. I want to say 6.
6. To tell you what, you are close. If Forest had beat you in 91 like we deserve to do, it would have been around that. But it's actually 8. You've won 8 FA Cups, which is actually loads if you think about it.
I went low.
Wow, I had no idea on that one, so that was difficult. That one.
Yeah, well, we just haven't won in so long. I'm just not used to winning no trophies.
That's true. That's true.
Okay, question 3. Who is your leading all-time goal scorer?
Jimmy Greaves.
Jimmy Greaves. Oh, well. It's a classic. Harry Kane might catch him one day, but for the moment, that is correct.
Yeah.
You've redeemed yourself. Okay, this was actually kind of a tough one, but I thought I'd try and get you with something. So, what is your record win in your history? Your record win?
9-1 against Wigan.
9-1. It's actually 13-2.
Is it really?
Wow.
Yeah. I'll pay to watch that game. That'll be a great match.
I'd love to see that.
Okay, so 2 out of 4. So this one's a 2-parter. So the final question is, who is your record goal scorer? And for a bonus point, how much did you pay for him?
I have no idea how much we paid for him, if I'm completely honest.
So who do you think it is to start off with?
Record goal scorer.
No, sorry, your record transfer.
Record transfer
is
Ndombele.
Ndombele. Correct. I was surprised by that because I don't know. You've had far better players, but how much do you think he was?
I think he cost us 53 mil.
That's very precise. Is that your final answer?
I think so.
53 mil. I tell you what, that is great knowledge. It's 53.8, but I'm going to give you 53 because fair play to that.
Fair play, yeah.
Would you do?
I mean, yeah. I think I'd have got it if it was my club. I wouldn't have got that particular player. No chance. I didn't realise he was your record signing for sure.
Yeah, I know.
But,
I'm happy with that. Though.
You
I'm
got
happy with
4
that.
out of 6, which is average. I mean, we haven't had another guest on, but you've set the bar high for guests coming on.
I think I've set the bar pretty high with that. Yeah, I'll take that.
It's definitely not a bad score to start us off on the guest leaderboard. So at least you can say you're first, but you're also last.
Yeah, well, at least Spurs are winning something now, eh?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So moving on, nice little segue to the first match of the weekend. Before all of this happened, Everton, what did you think of the game?
Pretty classic Mourinho, really. Just, I think Everton probably deserved to win on the balance of play. You know, Harry Kane saving us again. We only really had chances when Everton's defence made a mistake. Just there was no progression. We don't defend that well, but we can't attack at all. We don't use our attacking players where they can actually change the game and get assists and goals. It's just hopefully Kane will get the ball at some point in the game and score.
Yeah, just a question on that. Guess Will. Where do you think Tottenham would be without Harry Kane? Because he's digging you out a lot of holes at the moment, isn't he? I mean, you know, with it, like you say, the game plan seems to be get him the ball and see what happens.
Yeah, I think we'd struggle a lot. But I know under Poch, when he had his few injuries, that was when Son kind of took on the brunt and played quite well. But if Kane isn't there and if Son isn't playing, we'd be mid-table, around mid-table really. We it wouldn't be good at all. Like he's so key to pretty much everything we do, and we're not even doing that well, are we? So it's not looking that good at Spurs at the moment, to be honest, is it?
Yeah, and obviously Kane did get his 2 goals, but he's got an ankle injury now, so it'd be interesting to see how you fare without him again. I know you struggled without him and Son, didn't you? Because they kind of interlink off each other, don't they?
Yeah, they've got such a good understanding. But whenever he has his injuries, he kind of walks off in his protective boot after the game. But he didn't do that at Everton, so I can only hope he's there for Sunday. But I mean, if he isn't, we've got absolutely no chance.
Yeah, I think it'll be very, very interesting indeed. But did you think 2-2 was a fair result in the end?
I think because he's such a good talent, and if you do give anyone, I mean, their defensive errors were really poor from Everton's point of view. But as the whole game went, Everton had the chance. They weren't that clinical, but maybe a draw was fair because I don't think either team deserved to win. But if the team did deserve to win, I would have said Everton did. But yeah, maybe a draw overall was probably just about fair.
Yeah, I'll say so. But over the course of the match, and obviously Everton have been struggling a bit lately. They've been hampered by injuries. They started really, really strongly, and then just fallen away, haven't they, Joe? What have you made of Everton season so far?
I think to be honest, both Tottenham and Everton started quite strongly. Obviously, Tottenham had that period, didn't they, at the top of the table, where there were pundits and fans alike thinking, well, maybe they can go on and maybe win. Because obviously, Man City actually started very poorly, didn't they, if everyone remembers?
Yeah.
And I think if I'm a Tottenham fan, obviously don't want to put words in your mouth, guess Will, but I think it's the fact that, you must be disappointed with considering how you started. And where you are now, obviously you're fighting for top 4, which isn't a bad position to be in. It's not horrendous, but where you were, it must be kind of a disappointment. And it also goes with the kind of territory of, Spurs bottling it, and a lot of the opposing fans have that saying about you guys. So what do you make of that? And are you disappointed with how Spurs have been?
Well, I mean, at the start, when we were top, obviously so long ago, everyone was with Mourinho. They took it on board. They were like, it's not that good. The football's pretty rubbish, but we're winning games. Let's just. It was as soon as there was anyone who wasn't wanted going to be part of it, it was going to end up like this. But yeah, until about December time, it was until we lost at Liverpool, where it just really shook our players up. Then a few run of games in January, then we went to 6th or 7th, and we've stayed there ever since. So it was either Mourinho would still be there now, we'd still be challenging now, or it was going to end up like this, because that style of play, unless everybody is in good form and committed to it and wants to play like it, then
I think it's quite boring, isn't it? That's the problem. If you don't keep clean sheets, you're always in trouble playing like that, because there's kind of no attacking style to it. You're keeping the defence tight, and obviously you've got your central defensive mids, and like you say, if everyone's not kind of pulling behind that way of playing, then you are going to struggle, and unfortunately that's kind of what's happened.
Yeah.
No, I thought it was a fair result going on to the game. I thought, yeah, definitely fair result and stuff. So we'll see how Tottenham can fare for the rest of the season. It's going to be very, very interesting, because going to the next section, as you'll kind of allude to, well, it's been a very interesting week for Spurs, and around the country, but especially for Spurs, considering they were involved in the Super League, and obviously with the sacking of Mourinho. So yeah, it's been an interesting week.
Yeah, it has been really. So, but let's just jump straight into it. What have you made it all then?
Just absolutely mental. Just like you guys said on your podcast, it's just the rich wanting to get richer in any way they can. Just money grabbing. It's just trying to Americanize it and franchise it, and I like to try and think, well, why are they is there a genuine reason for why they're doing it that isn't money? But with the Champions League in place, like we see enough great games. We'll see some fantastic games in the Champions League 2 or 3 times a year. We don't need to see them every other week playing. Yeah, the best teams are playing against each other, but then when they're playing against each other all the time, surely they're just games in the end. So it's just a way to make money for them, isn't it?
Yeah, and anyway. when you look at that as well, obviously we said it yesterday, but it is just when you play in the Champions League, like you so rightly put, you're playing for games that are important. They mean something. You're going to progress in a competition. If this was a closed-off elitist league, the games mean nothing. Especially as a Spurs fan, no disrespect, but obviously looking at the teams as they are, you'd probably be one of the weaker teams in the competition. Probably you could lose your first 4 games, and then that'd be it for you for the rest of the season. I mean, that's not something you want to see as a Spurs fan, is it at all?
No, not at all.
You want to be competing, and when you get into the Champions League, you want to be kind of earning the right to be where you are, and that's the whole point of the competition. I mean, I said it yesterday. I can't believe that Arsenal were even considered for the Super League. I mean, they're ninth in the league. What gives them the right? They've been. I mean, I know I'm asking a Spurs fan this, but surely they've kind of gone into irrelevance a little bit, Arsenal, this season especially. I mean, what do you make of that, with the fact that you and Arsenal were included? No disrespect to Tottenham or Arsenal, just saying, on this season's performance, you wouldn't think you'd be involved. It is all money, isn't it?
Yeah, it is all money. I mean, it's just the richest clubs in the world getting the free pass into the rich club tournament where you can keep making money. And I think they made the point, they're going to reinvest it into the Football League. And even if they did that, it would be a tiny, tiny proportion. And it literally would just be them getting richer. In terms of Arsenal and Spurs, yeah, again, I'd say this genuinely. I think they've been slightly, we were at least challenging, but yeah, I don't think either of us are really at this present time in the biggest clubs in the world. Man U, obviously, massive history. They're doing well now, so fair dues. Same with City, Chelsea are always going to be there, and Liverpool really same with Man U. So I can see why, with how West Ham have done, obviously Leicester have done amazingly recently. You've got at least a say in, well, why aren't we there if these two are? I think obviously we're just there. I think we're the ninth richest club in the world, but I'd rather be like a Leicester right now and pushing any FA Cup final, pushing for the league, rather than we're the ninth biggest club in the world. Let's get into this super tournament to make more money.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I hope you don't mind me asking this question, Will. But obviously, what do you think, guess, Will, about the whole Mourinho thing, and obviously the fact that he's left now? And do you think that bringing Daniel Levy into it, do you think it had something to do with the Super League, or was he on his way out anyway?
Well, I said this yesterday, that I think Mourinho was probably going to go anyway, but I think it just tipped him over the edge, because I think it's just all about timing. He might have used it as an excuse. He might have thought he was going to go anyway. The full details haven't emerged yet, have they? It's just been a bit crazy, hasn't it? Did you think it was the right time for Mourinho to leave? Was his position untenable in the end?
I think 6 days before a cup final, absolutely not. But I think had we lost, or if we do lose the final, if it was Monday, wasn't it? 7 days later, the day after the cup final, we lost, and he'd been sacked then. I think that would have been the perfect time. I always thought he'd make it to the summer, but even a few weeks ago, people in Spurs were saying it's very unlikely he'll be at the club next season. So 6 days before a final is never good, but. Would we even have a chance? I mean, I wanted him to stay because I thought, he's obviously won a trophy. Every team, obviously apart from Spurs, Spursy, bottle job, all of that will come in.
Yeah, of course.
The only team, one of the most successful managers couldn't win a trophy yet. But yeah, I think in terms of the club, it was he needed to go. Players, he either lost them or they didn't want to play for him or whatever. But before the final is really, really poor. I think that just shows where we are as a club. Just no planning, no thinking. Look at our side recently. It's all the same, really.
Yeah, just going on to that then, because obviously Mourinho is kind of the front man for the club, but obviously Daniel Levy. Do you think he's made that decision in mind with the Super League? Because you say that the decision seems a bit rash, but obviously with it happening during the whirlwind of all this, do you think that Daniel Levy's obviously got questions to answer, but how would you like him to respond as a fan? Do you know what I mean? How would you like him to come out? And obviously there's been some club owners come out and apologise. Very, very painful to see, because obviously it's barely worth it in terms of apology. But where do you see what do you want Daniel Levy to do now in terms of the club and stuff? Because like you say, it's getting quite painful now, and obviously with everything with the Super League, what does he need to do to win you back as a fan? Basically, that's what the question is.
Well, he has come out a little bit. It's the same. I think it was a club statement. He hasn't filmed it or anything. It's just he types up everything every day, doesn't he? It's just one of those.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. We'll listen to the fans, and if there wasn't this outrage, then this never would have happened. But yeah, I mean, Daniel Levy. A lot of Spurs fans will have a lot of opinions on him, but he can't. He's lost a lot of fans beyond. They'll never really trust him. And Enick, who are above him, because the lack of investment, the profit before glory, as a lot of fans say, and it's really hard being a Spurs fan at the moment with the current ownership and all of the problems. And on the face of it, when we were top and Mourinho is in and the players looked happy, on the outside, I think the club is I absolutely love the club. The fans, the manager to some extent, obviously with Poch and the players, and even with Mourinho. When he was doing his stuff, I really loved it. But the club is rotten from the inside. and we have for a long time because of mismanagement. And Levy is a part of that, but I think it's a bigger picture. But Levy definitely doesn't help himself sometimes.
No, not at all. Not at all. Anything to add to that, Will?
Yeah, it's just been crazy, hasn't it? I think Mourinho started coming, really going on to Levy, because he was saying a lot of things were happening behind the scenes but he couldn't say. So I think that might have actually been hinting to this. I don't know if he's been told, unless there's other things happening behind the scenes as well. It's so hard to try to what is actually happening, because you don't know what's happening. It could be so different to as we expect. You know what I mean? It's just so hard to judge it and gauge it, because you know what Mourinho is like. He's very clever with his choice of words. Like when he goes and defends his players after the game, for example, that's why he talks about other things, for example, to take it away from the fans. He makes himself kind of look stupid in a way to protect his players, because he's very player centric. You know it's going wrong when he does actually have a go at his players in public, because it's normally a behind the scenes job with him, isn't it? But yeah, it's just you can tell something wasn't quite right for ages now, can you? And hopefully it will improve. Who do you want to see come in? Do you think it'll be a very interesting appointment, whoever the next person after? Who's a person who's Mason, isn't it?
Yeah, Ryan
Mason.
Ryan Mason, yeah. So I think that's fair. Obviously, he had his career-ending injury, and he's been into coaching since then. So he's obviously impressed the board, impressed the club. So hopefully, he might be able to do a good job. And do you think he can take Spurs forward long term? Do you just want to see how it goes?
I think he's there purely for morale, and I think it was a really. I mean, I don't know if Levy did have anything to do, but if he did, it's a really smart thing to do. Obviously, there's still quite a few players playing for the club that were playing when he was there, so coming up to a important few end of the season. We've got the cup and then the Premier League, and that's it. I think that morale is something we really need at the moment. So I think it is just a appointment until the end of the season. Obviously, unless he impresses really well, but I think he'll know. Just like he said, just bring some pride back to the club and make players look like they at least want to play for the shirt. I think Nagelsmann, the Leipzig boss, is who we're looking at. But again, will he want to come to this mess?
Especially now with all the Super League stuff as well.
He kind of wants to, but I don't know. It seems he's obviously one of the hot managers that any team would want, really. So
I think just weighing in on this one, because actually the guy you mentioned is obviously favourite, and then second to that is our manager, Brendan Rodgers. And no disrespect to Tottenham, but with the infrastructure that Leicester have got going on at the moment and the way that we're going forward in an upward trajectory we are, I don't see how Brendan Rodgers and the young talent that we have got, Maddison, Barnes, we've got plenty of young players coming through. I don't see how Brendan Rodgers, no offence again, but would want to go to Spurs. It would, I think, not saying it would be a backward step. I don't think it would be, but I think, like you say, the two clubs at the moment, the way they're being run, are completely different. So I think if Brendan Rodgers was to step away from Leicester, he'd have more of a challenge at Spurs, definitely. But he could do. Spurs are a big name. I'm not saying they're not. I don't know what's going to happen, but it'd be interesting to see who you go for sure.
Yeah, it will be. A lot of Spurs fans do want Rodgers. The only thing I'd say is sometimes in the big moments, that's the only thing, because obviously Spurs in the big moments, we do seem to, we Spurs it up, we bottle it. I know Rodgers has done that on occasion, but as a consistent manager, especially the first part of the season, he is absolutely brilliant. And the football he plays is the kind of football a lot of fans would want to see.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Obviously, yeah. I mean, I'd say Spurs are the team everyone wants to manage. Yeah, I don't think Rodgers would want to come to Spurs, especially he's got such a good project at Leicester, hasn't he? And yeah, you've got so many good young players and experienced players, and all over your squad is just talent, and you have great development, and you get in the players at the right times. We say you got Pereira, the right back. We got Serge Aurier, who has his moments, but Pereira as a right back is one of the best in the league. Easy, and
he's solid. He's solid.
Yeah, he really is good.
I think it'd be interesting though, because you never know what's going on in the manager's mind and stuff. Obviously he left Celtic to come to Leicester, so it's not like he hasn't got a history of kind of not bailing on his club. I don't think it was. I think he thought his project. The difference is, I think he thought his project at Celtic had come to an end. He'd won loads, whereas I think Leicester is very much an ongoing project. That's the only difference between those two. But be interesting to, like I say, to see if Spurs go for. But every time, kind of the top 4, top 6 clubs in terms of, like you say, Super League clubs, we'll call them now, lose a manager. You do as a Leicester fan, you do kind of worry, because, like I say, we're doing very, very well. But I think on the global stage, I don't think Leicester are a big club, whereas Tottenham's name does carry more weight for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. I agree there. But as a club, I think a lot of teams would rather be Leicester than where they are at the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a Forest, at least we're not Derby fans, eh? Sorry, Derby fans. Final question on Tottenham, because me and Joe have spoken about this in the past. I know it will pain you for me to ask this, but do you think Kane needs to leave Tottenham to be more successful?
I think Kane is a goal scorer pretty much before anything, and him breaking that Premier League record at Spurs it's not impossible for us to win a trophy. Very hard, I understand, but with the right investment, whatever, we could. But I think him breaking Alan Shearer's record at the club would mean so much to him. But again, I don't think he needs to leave. But if he sort of went to wherever, because I think any team would want him. Obviously, winning the biggest trophies is a desire for every player, and he is. He looks very like he wants to win the best. But I don't think he needs to leave. But I've said recently, like, he shouldn't feel like he has to say it all. The club just keeps letting him down, the fans down, with how every season goes for Spurs, losing 3-0 to Zagreb. Unforgivable things, and I think then, with he's such a good player, why is he at such a poor club, really?
Just quickly going back to that tie, I know it's a difficult one for you to talk about, but you must have thought then. We did a similar thing against Sparta Prague. Obviously losing that tie, but you were in full control of that tie, weren't you, beforehand? Going into that game, you must have thought, right, let's put these guys away. How do you process that as a fan, first and foremost, that happens? Because that was unforgivable, really. If I'm a Tottenham fan, I'm obviously not pleased, but against a team like Zagreb, they're not world beaters. And realistically, you should have gone and won again. Forget holding on to stuff. It was disappointing, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was real Mourinho. That was prime Mourinho. Just holding on to his morals. We can defend a 2-0 lead. Yeah, you can defend a 2-0 lead, but what if it does go wrong? We had no attacking threat. We were never going to score. We should have gone first 10, 20 minutes, put the pressure on, got a goal, we would have won the tie. But as soon as that second goal went in, I was like, knowing Spurs, we're going to lose this tie. And obviously it did happen. Their goals were great, but it was always coming from that second goal. Even the first goal, really, I just thought, surely this isn't going to happen again. But that was the moment where a lot of Spurs fans thought, Mourinho has to go.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
it's pretty hard.
It's okay. I just couldn't believe it. But you could see it coming a mile off, couldn't you? Eh?
Yeah, and it's just in the fact that it's Spurs as well in the European stage with a team they should be going through against. So many times.
Well, we'll see what happens in the new season. It'll be very interesting with everything happening about everything. Very, very quickly, do you think teams involved in the Super League should be punished, even though they've dropped out of it?
I would say some sort of punishment. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe. I don't. I see it because I don't know what punishment you could do. I mean, I suppose just financial punishments. I'd say actually, I wouldn't say point deductions because I don't think that's fair. But something to directly hurt the owners.
Yeah, I think you're
Yeah, I
right on that
definitely
one.
think that
I
should
do
be
actually.
that should be,
Because
yeah, because
let's look at
it isn't
sorry.
the players, is it? It's the owners who wanted more money. You can't really put the blame on the players.
Yeah, exactly what I was going to say. You can't put the blame on the players, and like you say, you've got to do something that hurts the owners. The only thing I would say with the financial thing is obviously they're more than in a position. How much money do you take off them to hurt them? Do you know what I mean? It's a catch-22 really. But I actually do agree. I said to Will before we started the podcast that maybe there should be a points deduction at the start of next season rather than this one. But like you say, it's nothing to do with the players or the manager. I think this is what fans need to realise. The actual fans of the clubs like yourself and the players and the manager, they were all against this. So it's not like the internal structure of the club, other than the owners, was kind of pushing for it. It just kind of happened. Everyone found out when we did. So I actually do agree with you on that one. The financial punishment's probably more fair.
Yeah. It was good to see all the unity from every fan everywhere, pretty much. But yeah, like Bamford said in his interview, why doesn't this happen with other issues like racism and things like that, which are so in the game? But yeah, it was really good to see the unity that we don't see too much with football these days. There's quite a lot of arguments and things, aren't there? But yeah, we all got. I mean, yeah, look how quickly it turned around. I think that's a really good day for football.
Yeah, definitely.
100%. So we could talk about this for hours, but we have to move on to the other scores for a week. So I'll quickly run through all the scores and the FA Cup scores, and we'll just talk briefly about each one. So the next game of the weekend was Newcastle West Ham. Now this was actually a really, really good game. West Ham went down to 10 men. Newcastle were 2-0 up, were cruising, and then West Ham came back and you thought they could win this here. It went to 2-2, and then Newcastle got that winning goal, probably deservedly with them having full strength. But big knock for West Ham season and hopes of the top four. What did you make of it, Jay?
Yeah, I thought it was a great game, and obviously invested interest in this one was kind of hoping that Newcastle could come up with the goods again for us in terms of taking some points off West Ham. I'm not saying I feel for West Ham, but such a good win against us the weekend prior, and then kind of dropping points against Newcastle. I think they'll have seen that as an opportunity lost, because it means now that if we go and beat West Brom, that kind of win was not for nothing, but you know what I mean? It puts them back at square one in terms of where that's regarded. I think there's a lot of stuttering happening. I mean, we'll go through the results in a bit. There's a lot of stuttering happening with the bigger teams. You look at Tottenham, you look at Chelsea, for example, last night. Liverpool as well on Monday. Everyone seems to be dropping points. No one seems to be wanting to really take control of those third and fourth spots, which is giving hope to everyone. But it's just going to be interesting for the rest of the season now, I think.
Yeah, it's really, really tight. I know we've spoken about the Leeds-Liverpool match yesterday. I think we were all Leeds fans. I can't believe I'm saying this. When they scored that late equaliser against Liverpool, because they did deserve it in that second hand, and so that's second half, and they really played well, and it really hampered Liverpool's top four hopes, because it's really, really tight between all the teams now. Let's put it into context. Between Leicester and Tottenham, there's only 6 points, which is nothing, and that's between 5 different teams. So it's really 5 teams fighting out for the final 2 spots, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And just a quick one to guess. Well, do you think Tottenham can make it into the top 4? Do you think they can?
I think we can. I think if the Mason, I think if his managerial now, I suppose. If he actually gets the players playing well, I think we can do it, but I don't think we will. I think it would take it would take teams faltering around the top four, and we'd have to be at our best every single game. So
Yeah.
it can happen, but I don't think it will.
Yeah. Next result, Will?
The Wolves Sheffield United match. Now there was only 1-0, but we know that means that Sheffield United are officially relegated. I know it's a shame because that's why you go to uni and where I met you, Will. So,
Yeah,
it's just a real shame for them, especially after last season they were doing so well. We were in Sheffield when they first got promoted, and the town was buzzing from it, wasn't there? Up and down the street there were partying, weren't they, before all the social distancing.
Yeah.
I just feel really sorry for them. Do you think they can bounce back though? I guess Will.
I'm not sure. I mean, they're not shambles, but obviously Wilder left because of the owner, and now the owner's left a few weeks later. It's such a shame because for fans, they've played such great football under Wilder. I think he'll get a really good job in the future. But I think they just have to reinvest. Their squad clearly wasn't good enough for the Prem, at least the second season. So they're going to have to just sort out their players and like David McGoldrick, obviously absolute Ipswich legend. When he's your top scorer in the league, does show that he's a good player, obviously, but he couldn't get that Ipswich team.
He's a good championship player, isn't he? He's a good championship player.
He, to be fair, he obviously did play quite well at times this season. But when he is your main goal threat, you really need to look at your
struggling, yeah. 100%.
And when you're spending that much on Ryan Brewster.
Yeah, I think they spent a lot of money on fairly average players. They bought a lot of Forest players, actually. They bought Robinson, Osborne. They were all consistent but fairly average players, championship players. And it just shows really on the level. They should have invested a bit more smartly by paying a little bit more, try to get a slightly better player. And I think it would have helped them. But yeah, they're gone now, so
yeah, it's a shame.
They've been gone for a while, to be fair.
Yeah, they've been gone for ages.
I think what's disappointing though is not just. I mean, obviously they did beat Derby's points tally in terms of the kind of the least for the Premier League history, but I think when you look at it with the fact that they did so well last season and then just such a poor points tally this time round, I can't see them winning another game. I don't know whether you guys agree with that. I really can't see them winning another game or getting a point even, to be honest.
No, I can't either. I think it's over.
Yeah, with and getting any more points. So yeah. What's the next game, Will?
So it's Arsenal Fulham. So this finished 1-1. What did you guys think of it?
Heartbreaking for Fulham. 97th minute equaliser from Nketiah. I mean, I don't know what to say. I really felt for Scott Parker on the sideline. 97 minutes plus time. I was thinking, come on, hold on to it. Do you know what I mean? I'd like Scott Parker. I quite like Fulham. But I can't see them getting out of it. I can see West Brom more so now than Fulham because of the amount of game in hand they've got. I did feel for Scott Parker though. 1-0 up all that way, and then obviously conceding that late equaliser. What did you think? Yes, Will. I mean,
like a few months ago, I thought Fulham were nailed on to survive, but yeah, just heartbreak, isn't it? I think West Brom have more of a chance, but I think these three will probably be the three to go down. Newcastle have somehow picked up some form out of nowhere, so I really can't see anyone going down but those three.
To be fair with Newcastle, I think their forms coincided with Wilson and St. Maximin coming back. Two of their best players for sure, and you can tell that. So now they're back.
Yeah, he'll get a big move, I think.
Yeah,
St. Maximin will get a big move soon, I think.
Yeah, he's got that flair that a lot of teams would want, don't they?
Yeah.
Okay,
exactly.
So moving on, because I know we're getting a bit over today, quite rightly so with everything that's happened. But the next game, 3-1 Man U against Burnley. Now, Burnley actually went equalising this game to make it 1-1. But Man U were just too strong in the end. 3-1 winners. What did you think of it?
Nothing more than to say that Man U have sewn up second spot. They actually looked a bit vulnerable in this game. Burnley were kind of equal with them for a lot of this game, and then scored two late goals to make it 3-1. The scoreline was a bit flattering on Man U, but another good win. I think Burnley again will be fine with the points tally they've got. They might need another win or so, but yeah, good win for Man U. It was a bit of a nothing game, really, though, in terms of the way we thought it was going to go. So yeah, 3-1 was a fair result, I think, in the end. But Burnley did push them all the way.
Yeah, 100%. Ooh, what did you think of it, Guesswell?
Yeah, it's just Man U just look really good at the moment, don't they? Yeah, I mean they always look a bit vulnerable with their defence. I think it always will. But you just know their attacking talent will eventually come through. And yeah, Man U just look really good at the moment.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those games where both teams weren't really fighting for anything now because they're both kind of. Well, actually, Burnley, they are struggling a bit, but I think they're about to be safe, like we say. But it was an interesting game in terms of that. But yeah, and the final game, what we're going to talk about, we've already spoken about the Leeds-Liverpool match. So the Chelsea-Brighton 0-0, bit of a damp squid kind of game, I know. Before the game, fans weren't letting the Chelsea team coach in. Petr Cech had to come out to plead with the fans. Bit of a boring game in the end, wasn't it?
I mean, yeah, it just didn't. I don't know. It's just one of those things again. I said earlier on, Chelsea are faltering slightly. Obviously everything with Super League again has not really helped them. But I think, the 0-0 and obviously going on to last night's game, they did, like you say, it was a damp squid. Wasn't really good enough. I just felt like it must have affected the players, all this talk. Definitely.
Yeah, 100%. Moving on to the FA Cup games. Joe, I know you're buzzing about this.
Sorry, yeah, what were you going to say, Will, about the Brighton game? I think you were just about to say something.
I literally was just Brighton missing big chances again at the end of the game. It's been there, really, hasn't it? Just missing chances. They could have won.
It's been their story, hasn't it? Definitely.
Yeah.
So yeah, moving on to the FA Cup then. I know you were really, really happy about this. It was a scrappy goal, but Leicester in the FA Cup final. I bet you're buzzing about that, aren't you, Joe?
Yeah, I think now that everything, it sounds really weird to say this, but I think now that everything's sorted out with the Super League, it's kind of hit me today that we're in the FA Cup final. Like I was saying yesterday, really want to win that. It's a competition we've never won. We've been in the final 4 times and never won it. This is our 5th time. We'll go in as kind of underdogs, but I think that's the way Leicester like it. And I'm just really happy that we got into the final. Very scrappy game, but I think if you're looking at an FA Cup semi-final, you don't really care as long as you're on the winning side. And that's exactly what Leicester were. Good goal from Iheanacho. He's on fire at the moment, isn't he? And it was a bit of a scrappy goal. Miskicked it first time round and then got a lucky ricochet. But sometimes that's what you need, and we won 1-0. But Southampton really didn't offer anything attacking wise, to be honest. I don't think they had a shot on target. Leicester were the better side, but it was a scrappy game for sure.
Yeah, it really was. But you're in the final, and you'll be playing, surprisingly, Chelsea, because they actually lost to Man City. Now, Man City were actually on top in this game, but they just couldn't put their chances away. But the quadruple for Man City is gone now, and we're on to the treble. What do you think of the game? So it'll be Chelsea, Leicester in the final. What do you think of it?
I'll tell you what. I'll throw it over to Guesswell as a neutral. What do you think? Where do you think the final's going to go? Obviously, Chelsea probably being favourites, but who do you think is going to come out on top on that one? In that one,
it's just who turns up on the day, really. Whose manager prepares their team best. Because I think it could go either way. Leicester on form really are a hard team to beat. But I think your key is if you can score. I know because Tuchel, he loves his clean sheets, but if you can score, I think you've got your defense can really. You've got some really good players in that defence. So I think Chelsea probably are favourites, but I wouldn't be surprised at all to see a Leicester win, to be honest.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. But the reason I'm happy is because we're there and we've got a chance. Do you know what I mean? We have got a chance.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. We'll definitely see what happens. I'm very nervous for it now. I think like most teams in the Premier League, my focus is now shifting towards the Premier League and trying to get that top 4 spot before anything else over the next month. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah.
Are you happy you're playing Chelsea over Man City?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think most Leicester fans, if you'd have told them the way that it was going to work out, Chelsea were going to knock out Man City. I think the reason being is because obviously Chelsea did knock out Man City, great result for them. But I think if you're going to look at it, Man City probably would have been overwhelming favourites in that final. Whereas I think it's definitely more level now with Chelsea. Plus, I know it was before Tuchel came in. But, we've beaten Chelsea before once this season, 2-0 under Frank Lampard when they were under Frank Lampard. So we know we can beat these players that we're going to be playing. And regardless of the new change in manager, we know we can beat them. And I think that gives us a bit of a psychological edge going in, which is good.
Yeah, that's always good to having a final, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting. So I hope Leicester do it because I haven't won it yet, and because they weren't one of the big top 6. So I'm backing every other club what aren't the big top 6 now. Sorry, Tottenham as well.
No, you know what? I don't blame you at all. I'd do the same.
Okay, I know we're running a little bit over, but I'm going to blitz through our predictions. So I'm going to say mine. Then guess what? You can say yours. Evan, Joe, you can say yours afterwards.
Yeah,
okay, you ready?
Cool.
So I'm going to go from the Arsenal-Everton match and then go down from there. If that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
cool.
So Arsenal-Everton, I've gone 2-1 Arsenal. I just think they're in a little bit more form, a few less injuries. Liverpool Newcastle, I'm going to go 2-1 Newcastle. I think Newcastle have that form, and it'd be kind of good to see another of the top 6 teams lose. And I just fancy Newcastle, and I don't know why. So 2-1 Newcastle. West Ham Chelsea, I think it's going to be a classic game. I'm going to go 3-2 West Ham. Because this is a crucial game for the top 4. I think it's one of the key games of the weekend. Next game, Sheffield United Brighton. I've just gone 3-0 Brighton. I think Sheffield United are dead and buried. Brighton are going to win this all away. Wolves Burnley. Again, it's a bit of a dance squid game. 1-1 will suit both teams, so that's what I've gone for. Now Leeds Man United. This is an all-time classic match, and I think it's going to be an all-time classic match. I've gone 4-4 for this match. I've gone out there. Ultimately, Villa, West Brom, West Midlands derby. I've gone 2-1 West Brom. I think we're on a bit more form, and I think they might win this one. Leicester Palace, and I've gone 2-1 Leicester. So those are my predictions. Over to you, Gaswell. What do you think? I'll write them down as you go. So
Right,
it's our Arsenal-Everton match.
Arsenal-Everton, I think 2-1 Arsenal. Yeah.
2-1 Arsenal. I know it pains you to say as a Spurs fan.
Yeah, but I think Everton are just too inconsistent.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Liverpool Newcastle.
Yeah.
I say 1-1.
1-1. I think it'd be a close game. You're right. West Ham Chelsea.
2-1 Chelsea.
Oh, you're going for it.
Yeah.
I think you might be right there. Sheffield United Brighton.
1-0 Brighton because they don't score too much, but I think they'll still be too strong.
Yeah, I agree with that. Wolves Burnley.
Wolves Burnley 0-0.
0-0. Yeah, you're probably right there again. Leeds Man United.
3-2 Man U.
High scoring game again. I think we've all gone the
same
way.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's going to be a high scoring game.
Yeah. Villa West Brom.
1-1. I don't think West Brom will quite have enough, but they'll definitely be pushing for it.
Yeah. And finally, Leicester Palace.
Ooh, will Palace score? 2-0 Leicester.
Oh, yeah, you're probably
2-0.
right there again. I think there's some cracking games coming up on there. And finally, Joe, what do you think of all the scores?
Right, so obviously the first one it's Arsenal Everton, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I'm going to go for 1-1 on this one.
1-1. Oh.
Yeah, I think it'll be a draw. I just never fancy Arsenal to get the win, to be honest, against a team that's obviously out of form, but Arsenal's defence has just been a shambles this year. So that's that. Liverpool Newcastle. I'm also going to go for a 1-1 on this one as well. I think it's going to be I think it's going to be a very close game. I think Newcastle have definitely got the capabilities to get a point for sure. I've watched a lot of Liverpool games over the last 2 weeks, and they just don't take the chances at the moment, to be honest. What's the next game?
West Ham Chelsea.
West Ham Chelsea. I'll go for a 2-0 Chelsea on this one. I think.
Ooh.
I think they'll because just the tightness of the defence. I think Chelsea win 2-0. Next one is
Sheffield United Brighton.
Sheffield United Brighton. I'm going with Guess Will on this one. I think it's going to be 1-0 Brighton. Can't see him scoring too much, but I just can't see Sheffield United scoring or getting the win at all. So yeah, 1-0 to Brighton.
Then it's Wolves Burnley.
Wolves Burnley. So it's like a bit of a damn squid, like you say. I'm actually going to go for a 0-0 on this one.
No,
Yeah.
We've all gone draws. I think you're right.
Yeah. I'm not sure I fancy any team to score on that one. And what's the next one? Sorry,
Leeds Manchester United.
Leeds Man United is. I'm going to go 4-2 Man United.
All gone high scoring games.
4-2 Man United. Leeds have always got the capability to score. You know how they play. They play in waves, don't they? When they're on it, they can really score. But I just think Man United's kind of counter-attacking ability, and also the game beforehand was 6-2 to Man United, wasn't it? Like previous in the season. It's just because they managed to pick off the space that Leeds do leave, as we've discussed previously on the show. And then the next one is the Leicester Crystal Palace.
No, the Villa West Brom game.
Villa West Brom again. I think West Brom need to win this. So obviously they've got Leicester tomorrow night, but they need to win this one as well, regardless of what the result is in the Leicester game. So I think, I'm going to go for West Brom 2-1.
Oh yeah, I think it'd be a close game.
Just because they're in form. And then the last game is Leicester Crystal Palace, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a difficult one. It depends what we do tomorrow night. Obviously, we've come off the back of 2 losses to West Ham and Man City. I think we'll win this one. Now I'm going to go for 2-1 Leicester in this one.
2-1 Leicester. Yeah, there's some good scores. I think it's going to be a cracking game week. After all the drama, I think this will get us back into and make us fall in love with football again, I hope. But yeah, thanks very much, Guess Will. Make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube. Make sure you follow us on Instagram and Facebook. And yeah, what did you think of it, Guess Will? Did you enjoy your time here?
Very much, very much. I just like expressing my many opinions about my club, really. But no, thanks for having me on, guys. It's been really nice.
Mate, no worries. And actually, mate, if we can get you back on in the future, that'd be great, because you've been a great guest.
I'd love that. I would love that.
Yeah.
It's been an absolute pleasure. But yeah, thanks very much, guys, and I'll see you later.
See you later.